Goalkeeping is without a doubt the hardest position on the pitch, but you could be making it a lot harder than it should be. In today's video, we're going to be going through how you can be a better goalkeeper, and that starts off with one of the main attributes a goalkeeper should master, the goal kick. Ever since starting out on this channel, I've been bombarded with comments asking me how to take a goal kick. So this is exactly what this video is all about. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your skills, a good goal kick is one of the most important and realistically one of the first things every goalkeeper should make sure they get right. So today I'll be breaking down every step to make sure you firstly understand how to perform the action, and secondly, make sure you can do it on a game day. So let's talk through what points we're going to go through. The setup, the stance, the approach, the strike, the follow through, and most importantly, common mistakes and practice drills. First things first, the setup. Obviously, if you're playing on AstroTurf, this part might be a little bit easier, but if you're playing on grass, make sure you find a nice patch of turf to place the ball down to ensure a clean strike. I personally like to tuck my toe under the ball 2 or 3 times, just to make sure there's no obstructions for when I am going to strike the ball. Next up, your stance. This is mostly down to personal preference, but for me, I like to take 4 or 5 steps back and 1 step to my left, as I usually take kickouts with my right foot. Obviously, if you're left-footed, you could take a step the opposite direction, but again, it's all down to personal preference. A good approach sets the tone for your kickout. After taking a few steps back, take a deep breath to set yourself, and your approach should be smooth and controlled. When it comes to the strike itself, this is where power and precision come together. As you approach the ball, make sure you place your standing foot slightly in front of the ball. You can really see here from this angle when I slow it down the placement of my standing foot and how it's just slightly in front of the ball here. Your aim should be to contact the lower half of the ball, allowing it to lift high and far. Don't forget to follow through after your kick. Let your kicking leg continue its motion. Your body should move forward after striking the ball. This is how you know you have the right technique down. If you want to make it more dramatic as well, once you kick the ball, you could do a slight jog after. This is mainly just to practice overreacting your follow through. If you put all of these points together, your kick out should realistically be starting to look something like this. But still, there can be a lot of room for error. So let's go through some common mistakes that maybe you're having right now and you can't seem to just simply get rid of. The number one worst common mistake that I see multiple different young keepers or keepers struggling with their kickouts make is trying to force it and kick the ball as hard as possible because they're struggling with getting the ball off the ground or not getting the distance that they want to get. When it comes to a kickout, it is all about technique. You should never force your kick. When you result to forcing your kick, that's when everything goes wrong. If you get the technique down right, the distance will come down with it over time. It's all about practice. Practice makes perfect. And ultimately, if you do constantly end up forcing your kick, you do have the chance of getting injured as well. And don't get me wrong, I have been there. I have done this before, even this season, multiple times. All I can say is that this is the most common problem I have come in contact with multiple different keepers who have asked me what is wrong with their goal kick. They can't get it off the ground, they can't get the distance they want, so they end up completely forcing the ball, trying to hit it as hard as possible. And when you do force the ball, you either end up hitting it in the wrong place, so it doesn't get the height. You try to hit it as hard as possible, so you don't get the accuracy. And ultimately, your whole technique is wrong, so the kick out goes wrong. And then you get frustrated and you do it again for the next kick out. And it's a cycle that just keeps happening. So if there is one thing that you can take away from this video, is do not force your kick out. Practice your technique, whether you get down early at training and you practice it before training, you do 10-15 minutes after training, or even on a day when you're not training, if you can get down to a pitch and just kick a couple of footballs, practice your technique. Over time, you will see a massive difference. Another common mistake that a lot of people have is that they can't get any height on their kickouts. And it's a simple fix if you know what you're doing wrong. If you're struggling with getting height on your kickouts, it means either you're hitting the wrong area of the ball or you're not leaning back. Leaning back when kicking the ball naturally helps you get the ball off the ground. You might hear a lot of coaches telling strikers stop leaning back when they're shooting towards goal, as they may be constantly putting the ball over the bar. But with goal kicks, this is the complete opposite. If you're struggling with getting height, make sure you lean back. When your foot comes in contact with the ball, it should almost sweep under the ball rather than trying to hit it directly. Think of how in golf you have a pitching wedge, and the golf club almost slides under the ball to get maximum height. This is kind of the same idea. This is why a goal kick is so different to the likes of a free kick outfield players are used to. When it comes to practice drills, there's one that really stood out to me when I was first training my kickouts and wanting to improve, especially when it comes to practicing getting height on your kickouts. For this drill, instead of kicking the ball away from your goal, you're going to want to turn around the opposite way as if you're kicking the ball towards your goal. Your aim for this drill is to get the ball over the bar. So what you can do is start off close to the goal, let's say the penalty spot, and practice getting the ball over the bar consistently, multiple times. Once you've mastered that, you can take it further back to the edge of the box. Same rule applies, taking it further back to the edge of the D, and then you can keep going as far as you want to challenge yourself as much as possible. Once you have this down, there is another alternative to bring accuracy into this drill. Instead of aiming to get the ball over the bar, you could aim to hit the crossbar directly. This makes the drill 10 times harder, as you have to hit the exact right height and precision to get the ball to hit the crossbar until you can move on to the next phase in taking the ball back further. Just remember, the lower the contact on the ball, the higher the ball will go with less distance. Practice finding the right contact on the ball for you to make sure you get the perfect amount of distance and height. Another simple drill you can do to practice your accuracy is simply getting your friend or a teammate and asking them to stand a few yards away. Practice trying to take a kick out and reaching the ball to your teammate consistently over time. Eventually, you can ask them to move further and further back while trying to get the ball to them without them moving too much. This can bring it into a game-like scenario, because when you're taking a kick out in a game, you should have the mindset of trying to take a kick out and getting the ball to one of your teammates to keep possession, rather than just trying to kick the ball up the pitch as far as you can. Now, don't get me wrong, there are multiple different types of kick out techniques out there, like the stab or ping or even the daisy cutter, and maybe we could do another tutorial video on these more advanced techniques in the future. But for now, if you did get this far into the video, you're an absolute legend. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button to help us reach 300,000 subscribers. And if you did find this video the slightest bit helpful, don't be afraid to give it a like and let me know what video you would like to see next.
Absolutely.